You know, friends, there's something I've carried with me these past few years. A quiet ache I need to share with you today. It's about a choice I made at 82, one I thought was wise, practical even. My family gathered around the kitchen table, voices gentle but firm. "It's for your safety, Mom. They'll handle everything there." So I packed my favorite quilt, my photo albums, and my trusty reading glasses, and I moved into a nursing home. If you're sitting there thinking about this path, maybe for yourself or someone you love, please pull your chair a little closer. Because what happened next wasn't just about stiff mattresses or bland meals. It was about losing pieces of myself I never imagined I'd miss. And once they were gone, well, let's just say some doors lock heavier than others. Now, I don't want you to picture me shaking a bony finger at you. Lord knows every situation's different. But if my story helps even one of you avoid the hollow regret that still keeps me up at night, that's worth scraping open old wounds. So let's start with the deepest cut of all. The morning I arrived, a sweet nurse named Linda showed me to room 17. "Lunch at noon sharp, dear," she chirped. And that's when I felt the first icy trickle down my spine. You see, at home I'd sip my coffee watching Cardinals at the feeder till 10 a.m. if I pleased. But here, that clock on the wall wasn't just telling time, it was my new boss. Breakfast at 7 whether my stomach agreed or not. Lights out at 9 sharp even if my book's climax had my heart racing. I'll never forget trying to water the plastic plant by my window. Sounds silly, doesn't it? But for 40 years I'd nurtured geraniums on my porch. That little act of caring, seeing green things thrive under my hands, it anchored me. When the aide gently took the watering can from me, "We've got people for that, honey," it wasn't just water that spilled. Something in my spirit did too, and that brings us to the second shadow that crept over me. My grandchildren's faces on the first visiting day. Oh, how they spilled laughter into that sterile room with their crayon drawings and schoolyard stories. But as weeks turned to months, those visits grew shorter, farther between. One Tuesday I sat by the entry window from breakfast till dinner watching cars come and go. None turned into my Bobby's old Chevy. Now, I know what you're thinking. Selfish kids. But here's the raw truth. It's not about love fading. It's about life moving like a river outside those walls. When you're not there for Sunday pancakes or fixing their leaky faucet on a Tuesday, you become a thought instead of a presence, an obligation instead of Grandma's warm kitchen smelling of cinnamon. Last winter, my great-grandson sent a shaky cell phone video of his first snowman. "Wish you could see it for real, Gigi," he beamed. And I pressed that phone to my cheek, weeping, not just for the snowman, but because he'd already forgotten I used to roll snowballs with him in my own backyard. Friends, my tea's gone cold here in my little apartment. Yes, I did eventually get out, but that's a story for later. For now, if you take just one thing from my ramblings today, let it be this. Independence isn't just about doing things for yourself. It's the 1,000 tiny choices that make a day yours, the scent of your own soup simmering, the rebellion of staying up till 10:23 with a crime novel. And family? They'll mean well, heaven knows they will, but out of sight has a cruel way of becoming out of heart. Next time we meet, I'll share 2 more hard lessons, including how that safe place made my body age faster than any birthday ever could. Till then, water those plants, bake those muffins, and if you're fighting to stay in your own beloved nest, well, maybe pour an extra cup of courage today. You're stronger than you know. You know, after my last visit with you, I sat by my window watching the maple tree in my yard, its leaves just starting to blush red. And I thought about Martha, sweet Martha from room 22 at Cedar Grove. She'd been a music teacher for 45 years. When I first met her, she'd hum Chopin while folding her sweaters, but by winter, that humming stopped. One afternoon, I found her staring blankly at the community piano. "My hands forgot," she whispered. That brings me to the third, hard truth nobody warned me about, losing your reason to wake up in the morning. Sounds dramatic, doesn't it? But it happens quieter than falling snow. At home, I had purpose baked into ordinary days, feeding Mr. Whiskers at dawn, deadheading the petunias, even arguing with the crossword puzzle. But inside those care facility walls, Every need gets met before you even know you have it. I'll tell you a secret. The day they took away my toaster was the day part of me broke. Fire hazard, dear, they said. But that little machine, it let me make cinnamon toast for visiting grandkids, my signature treat. Suddenly, I couldn't even offer them a slice of love on burnt bread. Purpose isn't just big things like careers or volunteering. It's the 100 tiny ways we nurture others and ourselves. Which leads straight into the fourth truth that shocked me most. Your body betrays you faster than you'd believe. Now I know what you're thinking. Aren't nursing homes supposed to keep you healthy? Oh, friends, there's a cruel paradox. At work. Remember Robert? The man who used to walk laps around the courtyard like a determined penguin. At home, he'd tended 2 acres alone, but slowly, without hills to climb or fences to mend. His legs forgot their strength. One Tuesday, I watched him struggle to rise from a sofa. A sofa! The same man who'd hauled hay bales at 80. Here's the painful science of it. Researchers at Yale found seniors lose 3–5% of muscle mass per week during bed rest. At Cedar Grove, I wasn't bedridden, but I wasn't living either. No raking. Leaves, no chasing grandkids, no stretching to reach the good china. My world shrank to hallways and elevators, and like Robert, I felt my body rusting from disuse. My neighbor Alice, sharp as a tack at 94, put it best. They call it assisted living, but honey, it's assisted declining. She'd been a gardener. When they banned her from the community flower beds, liability concerns, her hands began trembling within weeks, not from illness and from heartbreak. Which brings me to Carl. Oh, Carl, he'd been a mechanic. They gave him a busy board with zippers and shoelaces for cognitive stimulation. I found him crying over it one day. I rebuilt transmissions, he choked out. Now they want me to play with Velcro? Friends, your muscles aren't just flesh and bone. They're memory banks. Every time you lift a grocery bag or knead bread dough, you're whispering to your body, we're still needed. Take away those small daily challenges. Your strength doesn't just fade, it packs its bags. Now I don't share this to scare you. I share it because I wish someone had shaken me by the shoulders and said, Clara, fight to keep your hands in the dirt. Demand to make your own toast. Walk to the mailbox even if it takes 20 minutes. If you take nothing else from our time today, remember this. Movement is medicine, not fancy exercises, not physical therapy treadmills. The sacred, ordinary motions of your life. Hanging laundry, stirring soup, deadheading roses. Guard them like precious jewels, because once surrendered, reclaiming them feels like climbing Everest in slippers. Let's move to final 2 truths, including the one that trapped me longer than I ever imagined. But for now, whatever your toaster is today, whatever small act makes you feel useful and alive, do it with extra love. Pour that coffee slowly, sweep that porch thoroughly. Your independence is singing its anthem in those moments. Here's to the sacred ordinary. Dear friends, I woke at 3 a.m. remembering the shower incident. Not my proudest moment, but one that taught me the 5th hard truth. Dignity disappears in small surrenders. It was a Tuesday morning. I'd pressed the call button like always, needing help to the shower. 10 minutes past 15, sitting there in just my robe, feeling the chill seep into my bones. When Brenda finally rushed in, she was flustered. So sorry, Clara. Mrs. Jenkins fell. I understood, truly. But in that raw moment, I'd never felt more exposed. Not just my body. My very humanity felt laid bare. Privacy becomes a luxury you didn't know you treasured until it's gone. Doors swing open without knocks. Medications are handed to you like candy at a parade. Even choosing when to bathe becomes a negotiation. I remember Carl, our mechanic friend, refusing showers for a week after an aide joked about his old man knees within earshot. I served in Korea, he muttered to me later. Now I'm just a checklist item. Which brings me to the cruelest truth of all. The exit door locks quietly behind you. When I first moved in, I told my daughter, it's just temporary, 6 months, tops. What I didn't realize? Life moves on without you. My house? They'd thoughtfully rented it out to cover costs. My favorite armchair donated since you have nice furniture there. My medications? Now managed through their pharmacy system. Untangling that web felt like trying to unscramble an egg. And here's what no pamphlet tells you. Institutionalization reshapes your body and mind. Researchers from the Kinsey Institute found that losing control over basic choices, what to eat, when to sleep, triggers chronic stress that ages cells faster. My doctor confirmed it. Clara, your muscle loss and blood pressure changes, they accelerated after Cedar Grove. This is me at 81, hiking Mackinac Island with my grandson. Just 14 months later, taps the adjacent photo. That woman leaning on a walker by a plastic fern, she looks like my ghost. But friends, here's where hope elbows its way in. With my granddaughter's help, I fought my way out. Took 9 months of battling paperwork, rebuilding strength in a borrowed apartment, even relearning how to scramble eggs. Was it hard? Lord, yes. Worth it. Every aching step. So if you're weighing this decision today, demand a trial period. Never surrender your home immediately. Insist on keeping your routines. Your morning coffee ritual matters. Track changes fiercely. If your legs weaken or mood darkens, sound alarms explore alternatives. University of Michigan found daily in-home care costs less than facilities long-term. What I regret most wasn't needing help. It was surrendering my authority over that help. Your independence isn't measured by what you do alone, but by who holds the reins. So here's my parting wish for you. May your hands always find soil to tend. May your kitchen smell of burnt toast and forgiveness. May your door swing open for noisy, loving chaos. And if your heart whispers, stay, grab that instinct like a lifeline. You've survived decades, fought battles, loved deeply. You deserve more than safe. You deserve alive. Now go water something stubborn, bake something messy. And remember, your story isn't done blooming yet. Root deep, grow wild. Dear friend, after years of quiet research, countless conversations, and living this painful reality myself, I'm sharing these 6 hard truths not to frighten you, but to free us. These walls taught me lessons I never wanted to learn. The silence screams louder than crowds. Even surrounded by people, loneliness becomes your shadow. Your autonomy slips away like sand. Decisions about meals, baths, even bedtime. Suddenly, they're not yours. Home becomes a room number. Your life shrinks to 4 walls and a window facing a parking lot. Family visits feel like hurricanes, joyful, chaotic, then the crushing quiet when they leave. Loss clings to the hallways, friends pass, grief becomes routine. You fight to keep you alive. Against routines, paper gowns, and being seen as a patient first. This isn't just my story. It's a chorus of whispered regrets from so many souls who thought this was the only choice. But what if it doesn't have to be? After years of listening, learning, and holding trembling hands, we at Elderly Paradox believe there's another way. It starts with tearing down the silence, with refusing to let isolation win. Let's stick together. Let's share our stories, demand dignity, and find paths that honor life, not just safety. Because your value doesn't fade with age. Your voice still matters, with tears, truth, and fierce hope. Thank you for trusting us. With love, Elderly Paradox.